Okay, who would like to start?
Hal, this is Karina Schmidt. I have a question about work experience for the application. I was in the Navy for 4 years and then I got out, and for 2 years I thought I wanted to do like I was teaching special education, and then I got picked up at Niwik Pacific about 8 months ago, and everything that I'm doing is it's like right in line with this program. But I was just wondering how you guys account for the years of work experience, since I have about a 2-year gap between what would be relevant for this program.
Well, are you working in engineering or this sort of thing now, or are you still?
Yes, I am a product owner for an agile software development team.
And how many years have you done that? Put aside the 2 years where you went off. I'm not sure I
I've
care
done that
about
for about a year, and before that it was all I was a surface warfare officer in the Navy, so I had some experience in engineering, and the other part of my experience was in combat systems.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, in the past, I do think that experience in the military, Navy or Marines or whatever, is a valuable maturing experience. And so we've usually kind of regarded that experience as being almost the same as having an engineering job. So if you have 2 or 3 years in the Navy and then work for the past year, you're probably close to meeting our requirement as far as experience goes. Have I answered your question, Karina?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you. Who else? I see a number of pictures here, but
feel free to just unmute if you have a question. We'll just take them as they come.
Hello, my name is Eric Gonzalez. I have a kind of similar question, actually.
okay.
I'm a systems admin, and I've been doing that, not just at my current job, but in previous jobs for over 10 years.
Okay.
I don't know if that applies to this program.
My biggest doubt, my biggest question would be, what is the nature of the sysadmin? I mean, there are some, we've had people who come in from a sysadmin background and do very well, but it was really administration of projects and that sort of thing. So if they were kind of dealing with the same sort of topics. Is that what you do as a sysadmin?
Well, it's part of our umbrella, as far as planning for future, that falls into it, but that's not strictly exactly what we do. We work with all the different engineering fields on different projects, trying to get all the stakeholders together on how they want to move forward on certain, allocations of money to what technologies they're going to buy, things like that.
Well, I mean, this program is kind of a top level system sort of thing. So systems admin, it sounds like what you're doing is kind of a top level thing without getting into the details of the engineering.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
This program, we purposely are working at the integration interoperation level and don't really worry so much about the details of a circuit design or whatever you want to put in there. So, I mean, it seems to me, if you've got 10 years of experience doing that you're probably be qualified to come into the program from that point of view.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Who else?
I think I see a hand raised from Mohan. You can go ahead and unmute if you have a question.
All right. Hi, my name is Tadios. I have two questions. One of them is, I work for Northrop, and here and there is a possibility of traveling out of US. It might be more than 3 months. Sometimes it's about 3 months, but how's that work? I know you guys mentioned that all the lectures are recorded. Can you elaborate a little more about those situations?
Well, since all of our students are working professionals, I mean, it's not an uncommon thing to have somebody have to take a business trip. 3 months seems pretty extreme. we've had people who, for example, a Qualcomm person who went to India for a month, but he was a sturdy fellow, so he was able to actually from Delhi plug into the program for most of the lectures. So he was able to continue with the program because, but that was only a month. Are you going to be gone for up to 3 months at a time? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we travel to Middle East and average here and there about sometimes it takes up to 3 months, like
We
payload
have a student
installation and
this
whatnot.
year who works for I guess it's Halliburton, but anyway, he spends a lot of his time in Qatar or the UAR and things like that. So, and he links in and attends most classes, but even though he's in the Middle East, is that something you could do?
Yes.
Well, then it's probably not a problem. I think it's much better to appear in class, and hopefully next fall we're going to be back in person. But certainly people, I mean, as I said, Mohammed spends a lot of time in the Middle East, and he's plugged in and he's doing well in the program. So that should not be a problem. But it does take that extra effort on your part to stay connected.
Okay, thank you. I also have another question. This one is regarding the finance or like tuition. When I did my undergrad, I had a fee waiver of the Chapter 11. I don't know, is that applicable?
I don't.
That's kind of separate from kind of like this breakout room, but if you have financial questions, I can answer those separately. Or Kieko is back in the main room and she works with our financials. But generally for this program, students are eligible to take out federal financial aid or even private loans if that's something that you are interested in and eligible for. I don't advise on financial aid. UCSD has its own financial aid office. But also companies, a lot of our students also get funding from companies. I think you mentioned you were Northrop Grumman.
That's correct. Yes.
Is that correct? Well, we have a large number of Northrop Grumman students in the program this year, and I think almost every single one of them is using EdAssist, if you're familiar with that.
Okay.
If you have additional questions that are more detailed to your specific situation, you can ask Kieko in the main room or go ahead and send us an email and we can talk offline.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Who else?
Hi, my name is Alex Key, and I have some question about the admission guideline. So my question is that are they weighted equally for each one of them on the list, or is there any one of them is more important than the others?
I couldn't your voice broke up on me. I have limited capability here. Could you start again, Alex?
Sure. So looking through the list of the admission guidelines, which include the work experience, letter of recommendation, statement of purposes. So is there are they weighted equally, or one weigh more than the others? So one maybe is more important than the others.
For me, as one of the primary reviewers of applications, the things I care most about are insightful, meaningful letters of reference and a statement of purpose that gives me a sense of, you know, what the program is about and why you're going to want to join it. Those are the most important things to me. Okay.
Okay. As a letter of the reference, do you mean like a letter of the recommendation?
I certainly look at recommendations and look at the content of the letter from whoever wrote the letter. I'd like it from you know, at least a letter or two from a superior or some higher up in your organization or your boss, and I like it not to be just too often letters of recommendation. They're kind of Joe Blow is a nice guy admitting because he's well qualified. That doesn't satisfy me. I like to have some sense of what you've been doing from his perspective, from the letter writer's perspective, and why the program is going to be important.
Okay, Good, good. And then right here, I think that this resume has to be like an informative resume. What's the difference between this informative resume compared to the regular resumes?
Well, that's a good question. The resume needs to be informative to give a good sense of the work you've done and the role you played in various systems type of activities. Because we're looking for people who have done systems work and worked on systems and had some kind of a role. They may not have had to be a program manager, but they need to have somebody who's done significant things and know about putting things to get systems together, making things, if possible, integrated and that kind of stuff. Does that answer your question, Alex?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, who else?
Mr. Sorensen, my name's Hans, and I was curious if you could speak a little bit more about, in your opinion, what constitutes a good capstone project?
Oh, that's a really difficult question. The key thing is that it needs to be a project which is not narrow in scope with only a couple of requirements and something that would be in a given company's project, but it needs to have more of an enterprise flavor where the project may interact with outside sponsors outside the company, in some cases, not all, but some, or with senior managers in the company who say they're interested in finding out how to do such and such a thing as a result of your project. So it's the thing that's most important in the project choice is that it has breadth and it has involvement with individuals outside of your own particular project leader or wherever your company is. Does that help?
That sure does. And second question, are you going to be instructing any of the courses?
Am I going to be instructing in any of the courses?
Yes, sir.
I've kind of given that up. I'm getting to be an old guy, and basically I've been replacing myself with people who are better qualified to lecture at this point in time. But I attend every lecture. I'm there all the time, and I'm there for questions. And I certainly am there for the team project thing, so we can talk about both content in courses as well as how the team project's going.
That sounds good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Other questions? How does the
Hey,
program
Mike.
sound? Is it still interesting? Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Mike Winslow here from Nairobi Pacific. Can you help me understand the team formation? Because it seems like a team project is a key tenet of this program. And then as the other gentleman, Hans, alluded to, are we expected to come into the program with ideas of what our project should be, or is that part of like the beginning of the course? Over.
Well, that's a good question. The team projects this year, we've had 8. We actually had 9 teams to start the year, and they have the characteristic that 2 of the teams were people who all worked for Cubic Corporation, plus 1 person who worked for the MITRE Corporation that joined one of the teams. So they had managers within Cubic who expressed interest in particular topics, and that became their topic. We had 4 teams from Northrop Grumman, and they all came in with ideas that they got approval or kind of buy-in from managers, both at their immediate manager or in a couple of cases with more senior managers. We had a team from Viasat who came in with a very well-defined project and done very well. That's typical of a Viasat, I've learned. And then I'm forgetting somebody anyway. And then we have 1 team which is composed of people from 5 different organizations that go anywhere from Booz Allen Hamilton to Halliburton and to a couple of other things. And they came in with ideas on what they wanted to do. And only over the first 3 or 4 weeks did they work through what the problem would be that they work on for the year. And now they're working kind of on a statewide kind of a fire observation sort of a project. So, what I'm saying is that not everybody comes in with a team project on the first day of class. We start talking about it at the first day, including at the introductory course lecture, which starts all this thing off. And then we expect people when we do the first class by the end of the first day that they should start to talk about what they've learned and how that may impact a project, and they start to kick ideas around. They don't have to do a team project examination question for another 4 weeks. So there's a period of time there in the first month of the program where ideas are raised and people decide what they want to work on together. Does that answer you, Mike?
Yeah, thank you very much.
I hope that's informative. That's how we do. But we do want people to start thinking about their project from the first day. If they don't come in with ideas, I mean, some people have come in with ideas and then they get onto a team who don't like their idea, so it all dies anyway. So they've kind of wasted that time. So it's really a matter of emphasizing things to get started at the very first weeks and 2 or 3 weeks of the program. John, do you have anything to add about team projects? You've been very involved with the team project things and how we get them. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't have anything to add, but it is, as you say, it comes in many different ways. And usually it's good when the team members can get together and talk about it. Having a project that's a synthesis of ideas tends to be more rewarding than just one person's idea.
Okay, Mike?
Yep, no, it totally makes sense. I appreciate the feedback, and yeah, it totally makes sense. I was kind of wondering how the idea formation comes together, especially since it's a team project over.
Now we have a graduate of the program from NIWIC here, Susie Hartzog. You have anything you'd like to add about the team projects and what you expect on your teams when you send them back into the program now, Susie?
One thing that I would share with is that coming up with a good project is really critical. And when we went through it, we had one team that switched halfway through, and that makes it just harder for the youth because then you have to redo a lot of your work. So, finding something that you're really interested in and that's going to be a good project early on, and finding some teammates that will work through that with you is really critical.
Good, that's a good point. Okay. Anybody else? Some of you haven't asked a question yet. Are you getting the information you wanted to get with these discussions, or do you have a question?
Hello. Hi, this is Tianchen. So I have a follow-up question on the project. So I'm wondering like whether the project, like which domain will the project be mainly focused on? It's like a technology domain, or it's like a more business domain focus?
Well, thanks for asking that question. The program is named Enterprise Systems. And so
Yes.
we want projects that deal with an enterprise level where the team members are going to engage stakeholders, which may be not even inside their own organization, but are things which are talking to the broader problem, which they will, when they finally get to the end, they will specialize that broader problem down to something they can do in the time we've got for the year, so it becomes more specialized. But we'd like the initial considerations to be at a fairly broad level, Chan.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I think most of you have asked a question, but not everybody. I see Comer. Do you have a question, Comer? Or Rich Daniels? I don't think you've asked a question, Rich. Or Nicholas Gale, do you have a question, Nick?
I actually don't have any questions. I work directly for one of your previous graduates, so I've asked him lots of questions about this program.
Okay, we can't help you any more than that then. Okay.
Yeah. I work for Enzo at Cubic.
Good. Well, Cubic's going through big changes now. We have to talk offline. You can tell me what's happening at Cubic. It's an interesting time for them. Good luck. Okay, anybody else? Rich Daniels, do you have a question?
No questions. I've already had my questions answered previously, so I'm good.
Okay. Now, is that everybody in the class then? Have we touched everybody who's here now?
Well, if anybody has questions that they think of after we end this session, feel free to email any of us. Our contact information is on our website. It's jacobschool.ucsd.edu/mas. Our contact information is there, or my email is Stacy, STACEY, w@eng.ucsd.edu. I'm reachable via email. We can set up a discussion. I could put you in touch with Hal if you have any further questions. Just reach out, let us know.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, Tianchen here. So just one quick question. So will today's slides and recordings be sent out like send out a link to the slides and the recordings today?
I'm not sure that we'll get around to doing that today since we're ending.
Oh
really
yeah,
this
sure. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
asking generally.
Yeah, we'll be sure. So what we usually do is post a PDF of our slides on our website. So the homepage where you go, to click on like any information, we usually post that there. And I'm not sure if Philip is planning to email everybody who attended tonight the slides as well, but we'll be sure to get that information up and posted probably by the end of the week.
Sure. I think a PDF should be fine. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I see a new name, Joser12, whoever that is. Do you have any questions, Joser? Guess not. Okay. Well, you can always reach me at hsorensen@ucsd.edu with an email. I respond to that more than, I'm never in my office, so my university telephone number is useless. I haven't been on campus now for a year. It's a grim time, but if you have any questions, just contact me at hwsorensen, SORENSON @ucsd.edu, and we can set up another Zoom session, or I can answer questions if you put it into your email. Okay? And if there's no other questions, then I think Stacy, we may as well end the day then and let everybody go off and do their business.
Yep, get some dinner, some late dinner. You're welcome to also rejoin the main session if you have any general questions for administration. Otherwise, I'll stop this recording. You're free to, again, join the main session or just log off and let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to getting more,